Well, that's into the verification for the autumn 2015 forecast from gasweathers.com. So back at the end of August, it was, a long time ago, back at the end of August, we issued our autumn 2015 forecast. We've come to the end of the season, of course, several weeks ago, or a couple of weeks ago, anyway. And as forecast, I think it's important that we go back and verify how the forecast did, and just perhaps explain some reasons why things went wrong, if indeed they did so. So we're going to have a look at the anomaly maps from the UK Met Office, to see how the autumn of 2015 panned out. But before we get on with that, just say about the ads. There's articles on the page of Gas Office. Have a browse visits, click through the links. If there's any articles that you're interested in, thanks for registering that. This video, ads, bunch of pages which open up in content where you watch about close back up again. Thanks so much for helping to pay for the website. So the autumn 2015 forecast issued at the end of August was for a colder than average autumn, a cooler than average season, perhaps by about as much as half a degree to 1 degree. And we also thought it would be a wetter than average season as well. The forecast wasn't great, so we'll have a look at the temperature anomalies first of all. So we're going to start off with the temperature anomaly for the autumn 2015 set against the old and cold 61 to 1990 average. And we see that it was a significantly milder than average autumn set against 61 to 90. Most places coming out around half a degree above average, some places as much as 1 degree above average. So it was a mild old autumn, and it was a bit of a strange one as well, because it was all going quite well in September. We had quite a cold September. Parts of England and Wales had the coldest September since 1994, or maybe even 1993. But things very quickly changed. Of course, it's November that really did the damage. November was an exceptionally mild month, and that's why things did go quite awry, really, with the autumn forecast. It was mainly down to November. If we have a look at the anomalies set against, so I'll have a look at the temperature anomalies set against 81 to 2010. Here we go. Again, milder than average, not as much of a deviation as against 61 to 90. You would expect that, because 61 to 90 is the old average. It's very cold as well. It encompasses the 1960s. So set against a more modern average of 81 to 2010. It's not quite as dramatic, but even so, it is milder than average, generally a little bit above average to around 1 degree above average through most parts of the country once again. So we can't say that the temperature forecast was correct for this season. We went for a cooler than average autumn. We ended up with a milder than average autumn, significantly milder than average, set against 61 to 90. If we have a look at the rainfall forecast, and that was for a wetter than average autumn, we see a lot of regional variation here set against 61 to 90. So Scotland came out with a very dry autumn, as did southern parts of England. Northern England, interestingly, had a very wet autumn, particularly focused around northeastern parts of England. I'm not quite sure what happened there, whether it's just all down to the rain that fell at the end of November, I'm not sure, but in any case, sort of a lot of regional variation, but the north and the south generally dry, central areas a good deal wetter. But again, you couldn't really say, away from that one area in northern England, you can't really say that was a particularly wet autumn. It was around average for most of us, to even drier than average. And set against 81 to 2010, excuse me, actually the anomaly is greater, or the deviation is greater, really a very dry autumn for Scotland and most of England and Wales, coming out drier than average as well. Again, just this slot through northern parts of England where we are wetter, and it was a wetter autumn there across parts of northern and northeastern England. But I think overall it was a pretty disappointing forecast, this one. Excuse me, again, I'm not all that pleased with how this one panned out. We did say that what was likely to happen is that we would start off quite blocked and cool perhaps for September and October. And then we predict we'd get a bit of an Atlantic onslaught in November, but I thought it would be colder than what we finished up with in November. It was exceptionally mild in November. I thought because of the cold anomaly in the North Atlantic Ocean, we could just about push it to a colder form of zonality as the Atlantic ramped up in November. The Atlantic did ramp up in November, so that aspect of forecast I was quite pleased about. We did see that ramp up in the Atlantic late October into November. That was expected, but it brought exceptionally mild temperatures. I just go to show that cold pool, and I always said really that the cold pool, whilst not wanting to downplay it, but I always said the cold pool was really quite insignificant, particularly as we get on towards winter. And that is indeed how things turned out. It played no part in stopping us from having an exceptionally mild November, and that's what did the autumn forecast in. So that was the autumn of 2015. It wasn't a particularly good forecast, but as I say, we have to come back and verify these forecasts when we issue them, see how we did. Sometimes it goes right, sometimes it goes wrong. Either way, at least we're transparent, and I hope you appreciate the honesty when we come back and look at these forecasts. So that's it for the autumn of 2015, a miss rather than a hit. We're going to see how the winter is going to pan out now. We started off very mild, but we'll see how things go, and as ever, we'll verify winter forecast when we get to start of spring, verify the spring forecast when we get to start of summer, and so on. So that's all for now. Later on today, there'll be the usual regular weather video at Gasworthy's. Okay, that's it all for now. Thanks for watching.